Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of On Tap Golf or Golf on Tap. We are live, and we're intertwined with On Tap Bets. If you're on Twitter, you can see our feed. We are live right now from On Tap Bets. Go ahead though and go to the YouTube channel because that's where you can interact with us. You can't really interact with us on Twitter. They changed that a while ago. So if you're watching and you're commenting on there, we can't see your comments. So please, 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 please go to YouTube and check us out over there. Like I said, I'm Joey at Joey Knows Nothing, joined as always by my good friend Jack Bushman at Jack Bushman 2. We are back again to break down another golf tournament, the RSM Classic. Jack, it's late, man. I got a beer. I usually don't drink a beer while we're doing shows, and I feel pretty good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. We got the final PGA Tour event of this calendar year. It'll be a nice little hiatus for us after, since we've been grinding away the past 2 months, and a lot of good work has been done over that stretch. It's been a pretty successful fall, so hopefully we can tie this thing up with a pretty little bow, get another dub, and then kind of chill for the next couple of weeks before the Century Tournament of Champions to kick off 2023, brother.
We need a break. We need an absolute break. But, at the same time, I know you're probably sitting there like, I don't want to stop because you're on such a damn heater right now. Last week, Tony Finau took you to the promised land with the Cadence Bank Houston Open. Tony Finau, man, crushed the field, just annihilated everybody. He made it look so easy that, I didn't even want to watch on Sunday because I didn't have anybody in it on Sunday to even watch for. I mean, Mackenzie Hughes did pretty well, but, he wasn't even close. Nobody was close to Finau, dude. First of all, congrats on another outright win in this fall swing season. How are you feeling about what happened last week in your victory? Obviously, probably pretty good.
Yeah, you don't get too many stress-free Sunday victories, and that's basically what it was for me. So it was great. Awesome to see Tony win. It's more thrilling to get the W when it's a guy you genuinely like and want to win and genuinely root for. I mean, sure, we're rooting for everybody. We throw money on each and every week, right? But going back to Will Zalatoris in the playoffs, I had been wanting him to win so badly. He had been so close so many different times, and to be on board and to win money for Will Zalatoris' first win coming in a playoff event too, it makes it all the more satisfying. And I kind of felt similarly to Tony Finau picking up the dub this week. So great to see Tony, just proving to the world he finally does have what it takes to be a winner. He's got 3 wins in his last 7 starts now, which, not to toot my own horn, but that's how many wins I have in 7 weeks in this fall season. So
Go ahead and toot it. Go ahead and toot it.
It's been a good fall season. I'm happy we have been grinding each and every week. But yeah, cool to see Tony get the win. Unfortunate that he withdrew this week because it makes the field even less interesting than it already was. But yeah, always good to get a W, man. But I'd love, again, to keep it going. You mentioned I don't even know if I want to break because things have been going so well. I do, though, because there's been a lot of work that's gone into these final results every day, doing research, looking at past results, looking at data golf, just grinding away, and got to give the brains some rest a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that, dude. But let's finish strong this week, brother. You need one too.
I do. I desperately need one in this fall swing before that much needed break for me mentally. Even the prop bets last week didn't go my way, Jack. And that's usually somewhere where I'm like, all right, this is where we crush it. And then we hope for the big payday on the outrights. Just didn't have it last week. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You move on, you kind of scratch the card off. All right, one more event down, moving on to the next one. And the next one here, Jack, as I mentioned earlier, the RSM Classic. It is located in St. Simons Island, Georgia, Sea Island Resort. So that's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be fun. I guess the field is a little weaker. 5 of the top 40 in the world will be teeing it up. Actually, that's down now. It's 4 because Tony Finau, the withdrawal. But, final official event of the calendar year. So like we said, we're looking forward to a little break here. What do you think about this course? Tell me about it. Talk to me.
Yeah, Sea Island Resort's an interesting one. You don't see many events on the PGA Tour schedule that feature 2 different courses. That's what we're going to see this week. We'll see the Seaside course 3 times, and then the Plantation course once. And how they go about it is Every player in the field will be split between those two courses on Thursday and Friday. And then the players that do make the cut, the weekend rounds will be held back at the Seaside course. But all in all, like, even though they do have their differences, they kind of still play similar. The Seaside course that we'll see the majority of the weekend, 3 of the rounds for the players that do make the cut. That stretches just over 7,000 yards. It's a par 70. It's more of the oceanside linksy style course, whereas the Plantation course is a little bit more inland and there's a little bit more tree coverage. And I've heard it actually makes things a little bit more difficult in terms of judging the wind because of those trees, where you can kind of get the gist of what it's going to do right off the ocean because it's so prominent. So, but both courses just over 7,000 yards. The only difference is the Plantation course is a par 72. That actually recently got redone in 2019 by Davis Love III, who's the host of this tournament, along with his brother Mark. They redesigned that in 2019, excuse me. And then the Seaside course is a vintage Tom Fazio design. We see a lot of his work on the PGA Tour regularly. So, yeah, as I mentioned, that's kind of a link style oceanside course. But the main thing about this is it's not too difficult. Very short. Probably will play under 7,000 yards most of the days. It's just over 7,000 tipped out. So it's not a lengthy course. The fairways are really wide. There is some danger, though, if you get wayward. I believe I saw it's 10% of drives that don't hit the fairway require a penalty stroke. The fairways are easy to hit, but if you miss them, you could find yourself in serious trouble. But the fairways should be not too challenging to hit. It's kind of a necessity. You need to play from the fairway here, I feel like. And then greens and regulation, some of the easiest and biggest greens to hit on the PGA Tour. So not really strokes gained approach, I don't think, is going to be the biggest thing this week, because I think those numbers can kind of get misrepresented where, cool, you hit the green, but I think proximity to the hole is more important this week, because guys they're going to hit greens. If you don't, you're not going to have a chance. Like, if you're scrambling on this course, see it. Go buy your plane ticket in the middle of you deciding if you're going to chip it or putt it from around the green. And then putting. It's kind of a putting contest, kind of wedges and putting, kind of the name of the game. We see this be a final score of around 19 to 22 under kind of regularly. So that's where I'd expect it to be once again this week. Like we've seen the majority of these fall season events, hit the fairway, be good with your wedges, make a lot of putts. Kind of gets boring. That's why I do really enjoy like the more difficult courses like we saw last week at the Houston Open, even though Tony Finau really didn't make it look all that difficult, going 13 under through 2 days. And Jason Kokrak, I think, won at 10 under the year before. So
that's what was so impressive, man. Like, we were expecting it to be such a difficult course, and it was.
It was. Just not for him.
Just not for him. Yeah, but sorry, continue. Yeah.
He also hit all 18 fairways on Sunday, or not 18 fairways because there's par threes, but he hit every fairway on Sunday. The driver was amazing. Tony's main weapon when it's on like that. He's going to do that to every course, but it's going to be very different this week at Sea Island Resort. Should be a birdie fest. Kind of could be a putting contest. I'm interested to see what kind of golfers you're breaking down, because there's a lot of ways you can go about it. I feel like guys who are obviously fairway finders and maybe not necessarily bombers, guys who can get hot with the putter, very good wedge players. And also, I think there's like a case to be made for wanting to bet guys that you've been betting all fall season, because like, oh, it's the last event. Like, I'm not going to stop now. Or like, I've heard a lot of people making cases for players like Davis Riley, who's had a really good year, and Sahith Theegala, who's come so close to picking up his first win as well. We've kind of seen this be a breakout place for some of the more, not household names of the PGA Tour. A lot of guys have emerged victorious for the first time or really had their breakout moment at the RSM Classic. So I've seen people paint those narratives that way. Even though the field's, not very good, Joey, I think it's going to be still very difficult to kind of decide who we exactly want to go on this week.
Absolutely difficult this week for me. I mean, I had a hard time kind of deciding which stats to dive into. I ended up kind of ignoring around the green game.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, the greens and reg numbers just being what they are. Like, I didn't think that was that important this week. But, there are some guys that might have good numbers in that area that I bet on this week. It's just not like I was looking at it like, oh, he's good in that area. I'm not going to bet on him. Of course, it's better to be good at everything, right? So, but that was something I kind of wasn't looking at as closely at. Driving accuracy, definitely. Total driving, was looking at approach. But I feel like that's always important,
It is.
Yeah, so I kind of – it's pretty much just guaranteed strokes gain approach. You're looking at that pretty much weekly. 3-putt avoidance a little bit. The putting, obviously, was something I definitely was looking at. Who was good on Bermuda. And birdie or better conversion percentage was something I kind of pointed to this week as well. Not necessarily all these guys that I'm betting this week, though, line up at everything. Like, so there's different reasons that I bet on a lot of these other guys or a lot of these golfers this week. But yeah, man, we'll see what we put together. I'm kind of interested to see what you bet on. Davis Riley, you kind of mentioned him. I feel like he would be a good fit for this course, and that's not somebody who I bet on. But I do feel like he's a pretty good fit. And a lot of guys, like, that's somebody we've been on, right? So kind of makes sense to maybe go that direction. I just don't really – I don't know. There were too many golfers in that kind of same area that I couldn't get to. I couldn't get to Riley. But anyways, with Finau off the board now we look at the favorites. And Brian Harman.
It's terrible.
Brian Harman is the favorite?
Terrible.
What the fuck are we doing? I'm sorry. There's no way I'm touching Brian Harman as the favorite of any tournament, let alone this tournament where we've seen a lot of guys with long odds win. I mean, I was looking at like the recent winners here. Taylor Gooch, Robert Streb, Tyler Duncan. Tyler Duncan's like 250 to 1. I mean, we'll get to him later on, but not saying like he's a lock to do great this week or anything because it's Tyler freaking Duncan, but that could be a possibility there. Charles Howell, Austin Cook, the Mac Daddy in 2016, Kevin Kisner in 2015. But like a lot of guys, that with longer odds, you have potential this week, as you mentioned. Brian Harman, the favorite, 19 to 1 is what I see him at right now. Seamus Power, 22 to 1. Jason Day, my boy, 25 to 1. Taylor Montgomery is 25 to 1. Let you down last week. It's like his first bad event of the season. Just it didn't make sense. Tom Hoagie is 28 to 1. Top of the board, Jack. A couple of these guys are interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not touching Brian Harman with a 10-foot stick. 19 to 1 Brian Harman, pass. Like, he doesn't even have that great of a track record here. The last thing I was doing before we started this show, Joey, was I'm a sick bastard, and on my phone I have past results from the last 7 years of every PGA tournament, and I was filling it out for the RSM Classic. And I knew that Brian Harman had become the favorite after Tony Finau withdrew, and I was like, what is Brian? He has one top 10 since 2015. It was a T4. And I get that he's been playing like decent golf, but I'm not getting on Brian Harman. I don't even really, odd for me, because I usually do bet the top of the betting board. And despite this being a tournament that's like historically given some long shot winners over the past few years, we just haven't seen that on the PGA Tour in like the last year now. It's been very few and far between coming from even like over 50 to 1. Like, this is the range that has been winning, but still, I don't have much interest. I'm passing on Harman. I'm passing on Seamus Power, although we know he can win on coastal tracks, and especially in fields like this. He's done it twice now in his career already. Bad track record. Did have a T4 here last time, so Power's a little interesting. I'm not going to get on Jason Day 25 to 1. We talk about it every week. You'll probably bet him, I'm sure, but until Jason Day shows me that he could play 4 consecutive rounds, I'm not going to be on him. The one that really interests me from this range, I'd have to say, is Tom Hoagie Buns, baby. We like Hoagie whenever he has a wedge in his hand, and it feels like, that's going to happen more frequently here than at the majority of other tournaments. And it feels like out of the guys up here, other than Jason Day, because, prior to 2017 or whenever it was, he was, the best player in the world. Tom Hoagie's the one who has you could make the argument for Seamus Power now, but Tom Hoagie has like legitimate winning upside that we've seen in the past year, and not a terrible track record here either. He's kind of been up and down. He has 2 top 10s. He had a T4 last year as well. So I think I'd probably have to go Hoagie at the top. It does kind of kill me though to get off Taylor Montgomery. I haven't been like betting him a ton outright. mostly like top tens. I believe the hype, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It feels like it would be a spot that he could pick up a win here too, but I feel like because I like other ranges, I'll probably just bet one of these guys, and for me, it's Tom Hoagie. What do you got, Joey?
That's what I'm saying, man. Taylor Montgomery, it feels like this could be his spot because to pick up his first victory and also because it could be a birdie contest. And so that's where I was like, man, I really want to bet this dude. I hate that number. I'm not doing it. I can't to pick up your first win at that number. I'm sorry. I can't if I haven't been betting you every single tournament. We've been on him a lot, but I haven't been on him every single tournament this fall swing season. So I'm just going to pass there for now anyways. I just can't see myself getting there. You mentioned him. All right, let's go ahead and talk about it, right? Get it out of the way. Just the weekly, like, spin the dial Jason Day bet. Can't stop, won't stop. Rockefeller Records, baby. We're going for it. Jason Day. Where he's struggled a lot this fall swing season has been around the green. And it's not even been like a major struggle. He's still gaining strokes there. But, you know, the strokes gained approach numbers, we've talked about those week in, week out lately in this fall swing. The tee to green numbers look fantastic. I can't miss. If he hits, I'm just not missing, Jack. Mr. Hoagie Buns, that's the most logical answer, I think, out of this range. So it definitely makes sense that you're in on him there. Missed the cut, obviously, Mayakoba. Just a ridiculously brutal second round. We talked about that. We were chatting as it was happening. Is like, what is he doing in this second round? But still, you know, one of the best stroke gain approach guys in this field and on tour, just period, right now. So I do love me some Hoagie Buns. Moving on here, let's see. We got McCarthy, 33-1. We have Keith Mitchell, 33-1. Joel Damon, 35-1. The Mac Daddy, Mackenzie Hughes, 35-1. Andrew Putnam is 40-1. Davis Riley, we mentioned him. Matt Kuchar, 40-1. Matthew Neesmith, 40-1. And then Patrick Rogers, 40-1. A lot of golfers clumped in this range here. I'm sure you have interest in at least one of them.
Yeah, I got interest in a couple of them. Joel Damon has just been on fire this fall. He's been really good. He has 4 top 16 finishes in his last 5 starts, and like on tough courses too. Like I think he did it at the CJ Cup. He just had a good finish again last week at the Houston Open. He's won on a coastal course in a bad field before. I don't love the odds on Joel Damon. Like I'd prefer him at like 70-1. Just not going to happen this week. So we'll see if I end up getting there, but I do like the way that he's trending right now. Mackenzie Hughes, he's a great putter. We know that. That's really what carries him to his victories that he's had in his career. Obviously, has won here already, and whenever he plays well here, he really pops is what I've noticed. Sure, he's capable of missing the cut, but that's kind of what you expect out of a player at the level of Mackenzie Hughes. He's just not consistently one of the best players on the PGA Tour, but is he capable of winning? Yeah, and he's shown us that already this fall. Two of the 3 times that he's made the cut since 2017, he's made the cut 3 times. He's finished first and second, and 2 of those 3 times. So when he makes the cut here, usually tends to end up at the top of the leaderboard. So I think that's interesting. Davis Riley, we've been backing him a lot. Like not really as much this fall season, but like at the end of last year too, we were kind of on him a decent amount. A really good season that, you know, last year, obviously, this is the calendar year, had a really good rookie season and came close a couple of times. And, you know, this feels, you mentioned, like a good course fit for him. I did mention earlier, this is Bermuda grass greens where he tends to do his best work. 2 Korn Ferry Tour wins, both on Bermuda greens. I'm probably going to be on Riley this week just because I've been backing him for so long, and I do believe in the talent. And also, like, quietly, he's been pretty good this fall. He doesn't have any like high-end finishes, but he's regularly making the cut, finishing like right around T20. So nothing too discouraging, even though he might not be popping as much in some people's minds. And then I also have interest in both Matthew Neesmith and Patrick Rogers. Probably more so Neesmith than Rogers because I've been backing Neesmith all fall, and he's been a really good ball striker. Like that's the strength of his game, finding fairways, putting it close to the hole. The putting's been, you know, up and down throughout his entire career, but when he putts well, he has this high upside. So I'd put Neesmith over Rogers, but Patrick's been playing pretty well this fall too, and he had a second place finish here. I don't know if it was last year or a couple years ago, but he's kind of hovered in contention a few times. I like a lot of players in this range. Just to kind of sum it up, I guess, for all the listeners out there, if I had to rate them, I would probably go number 1 would be Neesmith, 2 would be Mackenzie Hughes, and 3 would be Davis Riley ahead of Patrick Rogers. But yeah, a lot of interest in this range. This is probably where I'll have like the pocket that I'll have the most action on. What do you think about this range? You probably are starting here too. I'm guessing this is where you're usually at.
This is most of the money I think I'm putting in is in this range. You didn't mention Joel Damon on the rankings. Would he be just behind those guys or?
Yeah, he'd be ahead of Rogers.
Ahead of Rogers? Oh, okay.
I'd have him ahead of Rogers.
All right. Yeah. Dude, he's a vibe. He's a vibe. The bucket hat with the stash combo. Come on. Like,
his caddy Gino's a homie too. His caddy Gino's the man.
Yeah, he's cool as hell. Dude, I like me some Joel Damon. 12th in driving accuracy last year. Back-to-back top 10s. Just very consistent right now. And, I mean, I haven't bet him, and I'm not sure I'm going to, but I definitely get the logic there if you're going to. Starting with Mac Daddy here. 40-1 is where I caught him at with Mackenzie Hughes. Riding the wave, man. You kind of mentioned with this course in particular, he's been very boom or bust. You know, it's either he's in contention for the win, and he, in fact, has a win here, or I think he does have a win, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he does. 2016, 2017.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he either has a win, or he's like second or third, or he's getting cut, or he's like 65. Like there's no in between with Mackenzie Hughes, but like, you know, he's been really good in this fall season for the most part, very consistent. I mean, I'd probably want him more in weeks where strokes gain around the green was more important because he's very good there, and I don't think it's very important here. But I'm not going to let that move me off the Canadian. Like, I just don't think that's a real reason to do that, especially like you said with the putter being pretty good. So I do like Mackenzie Hughes this week. 40-1, I grabbed him at Matthew Neesmith. I know you're in on him just about every week. I mean, he's one of the guys that stood out looking at the Plantation course history and Seaside. Obviously going to be more on Seaside, but of golfers with at least 3 rounds, he's 6th best in this field versus expectation on the Seaside course. And then he's 5th best versus expectation on the Plantation course. So, I mean, he had 3 straight top 10s before Houston. You know, T53, okay, whatever. The irons have been money. Yeah, go ahead.
I forgot my Matthew Neesmith little tidbit.
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
Really good course history here when he was in the SEC for the SEC championship. I believe he had a 3rd here and a 2nd, I want to say, and he's played this course a bunch, not just on the PGA Tour. He's also a South Carolina native. I think he spends a lot of time down here too. A lot of really good results from Matthew Neesmith, not just counting his PGA Tour event. So I'm full-blown all in on Matthew Neesmith this week.
I love that so much. Neesmith is the guy this week. I think we're pretty much in agreement there. I think he's in a good spot to pick up his first career PGA Tour win. I really do. Love that tidbit. Love that little extra detail that you put in there. Yeah, there's not much else to say. Neesmith is an absolute course fit. He's got the course history, and he's golfing really well right now. So what more could you ask for? It feels like he's due for a win. Looking down here, the rest of this board, the 45 range now. Justin Rose, 45-1. Sahith Theegala, 45-1. Webb Simpson, 45-1. Wyndham Clark, 45. Harris English, Kevin Kisner, who does have a victory here. Taylor Pendrith, 50-1. We'll stop there, but I know Aaron Rye, we're getting to that range too. It's also interesting. But what do you think about this area?
Yeah, not too much interest from me. I would understand people going to Webb Simpson because he has such a good track record here, and 45-1 is like really fair, even though he's been dog water for the greater portion of the last year. I feel like this is the place where Webb can figure it out. It's, you know, these are the courses he does his best work on. Sedgefield, you know, these types of shorter tracks where he can just hit the fairway, rely on the putter, hit the greens. So I get it. I'm not going to get there. The one I'll probably wind up on here is Sahith. Not a good course fit at all, I will say. Like, it's not a good course fit for Sahith, but I just believe in him. I'm a big believer of Sahith. It's just like a gut feeling, and if I miss out on his first win, maybe only Corey Connors would hurt me more at this point. I really want to see Sahith win. I believe in his upside. And we've seen him pop a few times already this year. The Fortinet, the Zozo, top 6 finishes at both. I'm probably just going to ride him because I believe in his talent. So that's the only one I'm going to get from there. Where you want anyone in here?
It's tough, man. Kisner, I feel like he's got a good track record here, obviously, and with the win, he's accurate off the tee, and I like that.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna be betting on him. I don't think. Webb Simpson, though, 50-1, you can actually grab him at. So I did find that those numbers should still be out there because before we got on here, that's where I bet him at. And actually, I think it was on Bet Rivers. You check out the enhanced odds. Go ahead and check out those enhanced odds. Use our promo code ONTAP for an up to $250 deposit match. If you go to betrivers.com, promo code up to $250 for a deposit match. Promo code ONTAP. What are you waiting for? It's free money. Go use it if you're gambling. If you're not, okay, more power to you because me and Jack can't stop. But we're trying to make money.
Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me. Sorry. Must be boring. I don't even know what you're doing tuning into the show right now if you don't bet. Webb Simpson, man. Yeah, he could be boom or bust. Historically very good on courses around this region. He's played 10 events at Seaside, 9 for 10 cuts made. 9 for 10 cuts made. 8th place last year. 5 top 10s and 3 top 5s if we look back at the McGladrey Classic days in the early 2010s. So, yeah, 50-1. I like it only if you can get that number, really. I don't really want 45-1 because, like you said, he's been dog shit. Like, I'm not trying to bash the guy, and of course he's not going to hit for me now that I just said that. But like, you just when you golf that bad, I don't know what other interest you could possibly have other than course history, and that's pretty much what I'm going to go with here. Sahith is interesting. I didn't do that, but I definitely understand, especially for you, because man, you just can't keep betting a guy and then he gets his win and you don't bet him. It couldn't be me. Aaron Rye, though, 55-1 as we look down this board. Alex Smalley, 55-1. Brendan Todd, we talked about him not being very long off the tee, but this could be a course that he could do well at. JJ Spawn, 55-1. Chris Kirk, 66-1. Nick Hardy, 66-1. Big Papa Pump, Scott Stalling, 66-1. Taylor Moore, 66-1. And then our boy, who's becoming our boy, feels like my boy right now, 66-1, Will Gordon. Anybody over here that you got your eye on?
Yeah, the two that stood out to me the most were probably Aaron Rye. I've kind of been a sucker for him this fall, and he hasn't done a whole lot. And then, of course, I'm off him last week, T7 at the Houston Open, difficult course. We know he hits a ton of fairways, a really good iron player. Semi-interesting here. We saw him flash last week. Brendan Todd's probably the one I have most interest in, and I'll admit it firsthand. I'm kind of a sucker for Brendan Todd because he gains putting every week. He always hits the fairway. It's literally just whether or not his irons are on. And when his irons have been on this year, he's finished inside the top 10 both times. So give me some Brendan Todd. He's a Coastal Track winner, has won in events like this. 55-1 honestly feels like a pretty good number, despite, his lows being kind of low. I definitely think he can compete in this field. So those were the ones I kind of had interest in. I think Chris Kirk, 66-1 is kind of interesting, though, even though he's been, I don't want to say horrible to start the fall season. He just hasn't been good. But he's got a great track record here.
Way to put it nicely.
He hasn't been terrible. It's not like he's been Webb Simpson.
No, he hasn't been that bad.
Or Eric Van Rooyen. Eric Van Rooyen, should go look in the mirror and decide if he wants to keep playing this game. That's how bad he's been.
What about Austin Smotherman?
I would have walked off after 12. I'm 11 over.
Do you believe I bet him? We talked about it, but I mean,
that hurts.
God, I didn't put a lot on him. It was a little $5 sprinkle, but come on, man. Are you kidding me? That type of performance?
I know.
God, I can't. Yeah. Chris Kirk, no, he hasn't been that terrible. I'm sorry. Continue on. I feel like he's let me down when I try to take him with the top 40 bets and stuff. So maybe I have a poor taste in my mouth right now with Chris Kirk.
He's got a good track record here, man. I'm just never really been a big Chris Kirk guy. There's just certain guys you don't really bet on. He's one of those for me. So yeah, I'd go Todd as my guy in this range. You got anyone that you like at all?
Todd's definitely interesting. I didn't bet him. I'm not going to. I'm going to let you go ahead and do that since you're kind of a sucker for him. I see it though. I see the upside. Same goes with Aaron Rye. Oh, I just don't know if I want to fall victim to this again because I feel like the weeks that we really, really like Aaron Rye, he does nothing for us or he like very underproduces. Like it's just, I don't know. And maybe that's just me being biased because of that. So I don't really want to get trapped into those thoughts of like, he's let me down in the past. I can't bet on him again. Like, it's going to happen. Like most of these guys are going to let you down because that's what golf betting is, especially outright. Like it's just not that easy to predict. So if it were that easy, you'd probably be a freaking billionaire at this point because the odds are so damn good. But with that said, I mean, nobody really in this range I didn't get to, Jack. I didn't – even Will Gordon. Will Gordon I'm still on the fence about because I want to do it. I
just feel like this isn't a course where he can lean heavy on the driver. Like good driving doesn't get rewarded too hard here.
No, you're 100% right. That's not exactly – that's where you really want him, I think. And this might not be the spot for him. But, if he does really well in the other areas or increases his play, a little bit better in other areas this week, it's not out of the question. You're going to need a good driver to do well most of the time, just about anywhere. So it's not crazy to see him compete and do well this week. But like you said, I'm probably not going to get there. Moving down, there is a guy. There's the golfer I've been on every single week. And I'm going to skip over some names here and just go directly to him. The Mista guy. 90-1, I found him. Bet Rivers, the enhanced odds. Go ahead and grab him at that price if you can. Should be still up there. Picked up a lot of steam around the industry prior to the Houston Open, man. Like he wound up missing the cut. We never see that happen, right? Like a guy picks up a lot of steam throughout the industry and then misses the cut or has a bad week. Never see that happen. I mean, he's really good off the tee and converting birdies. One of the better birdie or better conversion rates this season. Approach has been a problem, but he's too good to be 90-1 or even 70-1, where he is on most books. If you're playing him, like I think DraftKings might have him at 70-1. Like I'm still perfectly fine with him there. I can't stop now, Jack. What do you say about the Mista guy, Dean Burmeister, and anybody in that like 70-90 range?
I don't know if I'm going to get on Burmeister this week. I get it. I just feel like there's better course fits for what he does the best. And there are a couple guys I feel like I'm going to get to, honestly, down in this range. And that usually doesn't happen for me. And maybe it's a mistake because a lot of favorites have been winning or guys towards the top end. But Hayden Buckley's someone we've been betting a lot this fall. Again, I don't know if it's the best course fit because the strength is that driver for him. But that's kind of a can't stop now situation. So he's someone that garnered my interest a little bit. Grayson Stig's a local guy who actually has the course record, I believe, on the Seaside course.
Shit.
Yeah.
Round record?
Yeah, I think he shot a 58. Doesn't have a great track record here, but another guy that in SEC play when he played college had some good results at this course and nearby as well. So I thought Grayson Stig was a little interesting. Davis Thompson's another one, 90-1 here, who I was on last week. Kind of quietly had a pretty good fall. Another guy who was, I think I referenced this last week, kind of an up-and-comer that the success just hasn't really been as high level yet on the PGA Tour. So I have some interest in Davis Thompson this week in this field. Before we go down too far, I'll stop at 100-1. The one I probably like the most from down here is probably shouldn't be too surprising. I'm going to take Sepp Straka. I'm going to take him. And I said it last week. He's just as likely to miss the cut as he is to win. What do you do? He missed the cut. I'm not mad about it. I know that's what Sepp Straka is going to do. But you're telling me a guy who's been in 2 playoff events, one of them in a PGA Tour playoff event with Will Zalatoris, 2 playoffs in the last, 2.5 months, is 100-1 in this field? I don't care if he shot 37 over last week. I'm going to take my stab at Sepp Straka, a proven winner who won at the Honda Classic, a really good Florida swing event. Like, did everyone just forget? I know that Sepp Straka is going to have his missed cuts. That's just what he is. He's a volatile player. I feel like that's pushed his line down way too far. So I'm going to take Sepp Straka. He'll probably miss the cut. But the upside is there. I believe in it. It's just way too good of a number. But you like anyone else in this range besides the Burmista?
Nah, I don't know, man. Not really. It's not that I don't. It's just, you gotta trim the card down.
Definitely.
The RSM, man, like looking at his past events here, Sepp Straka too.
Not good.
It hasn't been great. So I don't really understand why he keeps falling into this 100-1 range though. Like Sepp Straka, he's good. He's legitimately a good golfer. He just fucks around and misses cuts. Like that's just what he does. Like every once in a while, he's going to miss a cut, and then he's going to come back. He might miss 2 cuts in a row, and then he'll come back and he'll like be in contention for a win and be in a playoff or something. Like, so I get it, man. Like I definitely get it with Sepp Straka. This range wasn't really that enticing to me. I don't know what it was. I feel like Hayden Buckley definitely, like you said, is kind of a guy that we've gravitated towards. I've seen some love for Steven Jaeger this week.
Jaeger bombs.
The Jaeger bombs, the Jägermeister. I don't know. I can't do that. Definitely can't do that. Yeah. 100-1. Molinari is like sometimes he pops, but like I don't know.
Did it happen between the years 2014 and 2018 when he was actually good?
Yeah.
He's actually had some life though recently. I'm just giving him shit because Tiger took his soul, and so did Race Creek. He's never been the same, and was genuinely like one of the best golfers in the world.
Yeah, I just can't do it, man. Molinari's just not that. He's not that guy, pal. Justin Lower, keep the grass low, can't even mow it. Justin Lower, I don't know, man. I can't do that either. This 100-1 range. Let's start talking like 100 to 130 to 1. What do you think about this area? There is a golfer I'm on here. You could pretty much guess it, I'm sure. You don't even have to say his name. You could just add him to the list. Jack, what do you think about this spot?
Past 100 to 1, I know this is a range that's like capable. There were only 2 names that really stood out to me the most. One of them was Ben Griffin at 110 to 1. Really good finish last week again at the Houston Open. He finished 3rd at the Bermuda Championship. I saw him kind of be one of the guys who popped the most from down in this like plus 100 level range. So I think I'm going to be on Ben Griffin this week. I don't really know much about him, but it's been a good fall swing for him the past couple of weeks. So he's one that intrigued me a little bit. The other was our boy, the Shankmeister at 150 to 1. Like, what was he at Bermuda? 30 to 1? That was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, I get it. It was 2 bad weeks for Shank, but like now he's 150 to 1. Like that feels like a good price.
Bet on the talent, man. Bet on the talent. He's talented. He's way more talented than this. You might talk me into this because he wasn't exactly on my card this week.
I could see it being like a little bit of a flyer. I just feel like, again, the odds are too big. Who do you have interest in, though, plus 100 to 1? Those were the only 2 guys that really caught my eye, unless we want to get frisky and go with my boy Stewie Sink at 200 to 1.
I mean, that's all you. I can't. No Stewie Sink for me. That's off limits. I can't do that. I know he's your boy, though. Luke List. Luke List is my boy. His putting sucks. I understand. His putting is terrible.
bad.
Like he's lost so many strokes on his putting on a weekly basis. It's not just, one event. It's every event he loses putting, strokes putting. So like if he can just putt average 1 week, Mr. Luke List, 1 week, just putt average. Let's see what happens because his game is good.
You sound like everybody that's ever bet on him. Just be like, just putt okay this week, and then he loses like 4 strokes putting, and you're like,
and we're talking about this could be a putting contest, and here I am sitting there like,
sitting there with a Luke List ticket that's probably worth a nickel.
Fucking bozo. Yeah, that's me. I'm the bozo that's gonna put in that $5 buckaroo, $5 on Luke List this week. I'm not going any more than that, Jack, but I am in on Luke List for $5.
Are you in on Tyler Duncan 250 to 1?
That's actually interesting. Former champ here, right? It's interesting. I have not done it yet, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts about Tyler Duncan if you have any.
I really don't. I just felt like I thought you mentioned him earlier, and it might be a good number. I'm not going to bet on him. Even though he's like none of these guys who are the past winners. Like I'm not like I'm not going to bet. Is Robert Streb even here? I don't even know.
I don't even know.
Twice, and I don't even care if he's here.
I don't care either.
Exactly.
I don't. Like, yeah, you can't just. This is the type of event where we're gonna see. I truly believe, we're gonna see a first time winner here. This again, because it just happens. It just happens here. It feels like, and going off of like course history is great, especially if you're talking like top 20s, maybe top 40s, top 10s. But like to double down as a winner here, I don't know, man. Like I don't know if that's as predictable, especially on a birdie fest type of a course. And I just don't know if that's that predictable this week. So I'm kind of with you there. Like I don't really just want to take like former champions just to take former champions. It's a big reason why I haven't bet Kevin Kisner.
Yeah, I do like Kiz. We haven't seen him in ages, it feels like. He barely did anything at the President's Cup. He was just there to like crack jokes and fly the booth for the boys when they won.
Yeah, he's just cracking Yinglings like me. He might as well have been sitting in my seat right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I would understand Kisner. I had his name written down. Just got a new swing coach, actually, which I think has like quietly been out there. John Tillery, who he has done a lot of work with. They just parted ways, I guess. I'm probably not in like a bad way, just like things happen over time. And Kisner kind of went cold at the end of last year, probably wants to try new things. I don't know. Sometimes that happens, though. I mean, we saw Will Zalatoris win first week with his new caddy. Like, sometimes you just change things up and you get a different vibe. Golf's a weird game. So I'd understand backing Kisner this week, 50-1. Not a bad number.
I agree with you there. I mean, it's not like I was actively avoiding Kisner by any means either. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I guess I'm contradicting myself because, like, I feel like I don't think former champions like just guaranteed to win, or like nobody's guaranteed to win. But I don't think that means that they're going to win necessarily. But yeah, I mean, you're making a lot of good points. Like switching things up can obviously lead to better results. I mean, we saw even Scotty Scheffler make some adjustments and look much better recently too. So, like, I don't know. We'll see like what happens with Kevin Kisner this week. Brian Gay. He's kind of worth a look, maybe. He puts well on
400-1.
I don't know what his price is right now. I have not seen. Let me see. Maybe you can find that before me. He puts well in Bermuda though, so I feel like he's kind of worth a look at long odds. I mean, he just had a pretty good tournament the last time we saw him, at least on tour. Like he's been at
that's his home though. That's his home.
This is his home.
Well, no, I just mean
then yeah,
Bermuda, that's what he calls home.
That's his course. That's his course. Man.
He is 400-1.
But that's a huge number, right?
I mean, you put $25 on him to win $10,000.
Holy shit! Are you kidding me? I'm never doing this show again if I win.
$10,000 that easy to get you away from me?
That's all it took. I just couldn't wait to get the hell away from you. No, man. Actually, 400-1. I saw Max McGreevy. I'm kind of interested in.
Why?
Please 400-1.
I know literally nothing about Max McGreevy.
Yeah, I just
inform me about Mr. McGreevy.
It's not like I'm super confident that he's going to have some great tournament this week, but I mean, if you look at what he's been at the Korn Ferry Tour, very accurate off the tee. T67 last week, not great, obviously. Cut at Mayakoba, but a T8 at the Butterfield Bermuda. Of course, I like the sound of that. Like, especially when looking at the Seaside course here. I kind of like the sound of that. I think he could have some upside at the long odds that he is. T16 here last year, third and above expectation out of golfers with at least 3 rounds golfed at Seaside.
Okay.
Small sample, but still, dude, 400-1. If I hit that thing, oh, baby. You got to find reasons why, right, Jack? We always talk about this. Got to find reasons why. Those are my reasons.
I get it.
So with that said, we did not talk pre-show. We usually don't talk too much pre-show about the ins and outs of what we're betting on. But did you have any like nationality props or head-to-heads, anything like that? Because I don't really have anything at this point.
The nationality didn't really get to me. I saw 2 top 20 bets that interested me a little bit. Brendan Todd plus 300, Hayden Buckley plus 300. I already referenced Brendan Todd. If the irons are on, we know he's a really good putter. He's not going to hit it far, but he's going to hit the fairway. I think he has a good chance. I think he is going to place inside the top 20 this week if the irons are good. That's just the debate about it. And then Hayden Buckley, I haven't made any outrights yet. I don't know how deep my card is going to be, but I feel like this is probably the better way to get some money on Hayden Buckley. Again, I referenced earlier, I feel like it's probably not the best course fit for him, given that he's so good with the driver and is kind of a bomber, and it's kind of neutralized a little bit here on these shorter holes. It's just a wedge fest in a putting contest. So I feel like top 20 is probably a more responsible way to get on Hayden Buckley. Both those guys plus 300. Other than that, though, no, not really. Nationality, I didn't see anything. I just perused it real quick here, and nothing really caught my eye immediately. So that's probably all I'm going to have this week. Probably those two top 20s as my props. You got anything at all?
I mean, I like those. Plus 300 odds are always nice and juicy. I mean, yeah, why not? Bet responsibly, as they say. So I like that. No, I don't have anything yet, man. This is a good time, I guess, to plug my article. I'm going to hopefully come out with a prop bets article tomorrow so that everybody can check that out. Go ahead and go to ontapsportsnet.com if you haven't already. But, check back tomorrow because hopefully I'll have the prop bets article out. Jack, is your outright article out yet, or is that coming tomorrow?
It'll be out tomorrow morning, and make sure to check that out because it will have more of like my finalized thoughts on everything. And they've been really good as of late. All three of the winners that I've hit this fall season, they've all been under my favorite outrights category in that article. Make sure to check that out. Some really good stuff there. Full course breakdown, key stats, past winners, everything you need to know for the tournament will be in there. So check it out tomorrow when it drops.
I like that. I like that a lot. I don't know what you're waiting for if you haven't checked it out before. Maybe you're new. Maybe you're new to this channel. Maybe you're new to the show. And we appreciate you coming in here and checking us out because, we put in this work and we'd like to see it pay off for somebody at least, even if it's not for us. Maybe our reasoning pushes you away from a golfer. Right? Who knows?
That's why I listen to other shows on the daily basis. I want to hear what their thoughts are on different guys. My thoughts probably aren't going to align with everybody's, as shocking as that may be in today's world. Some people think differently. Oh my gosh, who could have guessed?
Yeah, you have to agree with everything everybody says, apparently.
Yeah, right? Exactly. I just like hearing different inputs. We both agree on this, Joey. You've talked about this before. We're the type of people that we just want as much knowledge and information as possible, and then we'll decide what to do with that when it's stored in our brains.
Absolutely. And another thing that you did last week that I love, and it's worth bringing up again, is you stuck to your fucking gut.
I forgot to bring that up. That made it feel even better because he was my best bet, and I said, I know he missed the cut last week, but it's a good start.
He was your best bet. He was your favorite bet last week. He won the tournament. You ran away with the freaking tournament. We've already talked about it, but I sat there last week and was like, yeah, I don't know about Finau. I understand it, but I don't know about Finau. And shove it up your shitter, right? It's just you were going to hit that outright and you had your mindset a certain way. You were not getting off the tracks and you're like, no, dude, I'm sticking with my convictions. And that's what it's about. If you have a conviction about something, stick with it. If your research puts you there, stick with it. And I think that's going to pay huge, massive dividends when it's all said and done, especially towards the end of the golf season. You're going to look back and be like, look how much money I made this golf season. I mean, that's what it's all about, really, along with having fun.
One thing about it, too, is I will say that's just come with, having more – this is going to sound terrible and very degenerate, but just more experience of, gambling golf. There were so many times last year – I think I have it on my phone – 6 or 7 times last year, a guy that I had the week prior – that I was on the week prior went on to win the following week. And there were just so many times where things made sense. It just – the finished product happened a week after I was on them. And because it didn't work for them that certain week, it frustrated me and I got off them. And I just kind of had to learn to push that all aside and understand Tony Finau's still a great course fit here. I believe in that talent. It's a good number compared to Aaron Wise being shorter than him. What a slap in the face by the way. Aaron Wise has greater odds to win a golf tournament than Tony Finau. Yeah, that's an absolute joke. So, but that's how golf betting is. You got to find out where that happy medium is, and it won't work for me some weeks, but when it does, it feels that much better.
Well, I feel like that's why we are kind of similar, in that sense. I mean, in a lot of ways, but in that sense of if you listen to the show, if you watch us at all, or you're just tuning in now, me and Jack will bet on a lot of the same golfers week in and week out. It's because they're kind of pushing us in that direction of okay, they're showing us something, whatever the reasons are. Maybe it's recent trends, maybe it's something we like with that course, but there's a lot of times where we will stay on a golfer, especially if they're hot or if they're showing us certain stats, we'll stay on them because we don't want to miss, right? Like you don't want to miss. And it's also like you said, how many times have you bet on a guy and then the next week you're just off by 1 week? So like you can't just be like, well, that guy's banned for life. And there are some guys like that where I do feel like they're banned for life now.
The Smother Man.
Yeah, the Smother Man might actually be banned for life. Good riddance. Couldn't wait to get rid of him after last week. But man, yeah, we've done 50 minutes of this, Jack. I'm looking forward to this RSM Classic. Somehow, I wasn't even really looking forward to it that much, looking at this field, and I'm really looking forward to this break that's upcoming. But before we get out of here, you nailed your best bet last week. Give me your best bet this week. I want to hear it.
Yeah, so I don't have anything in as of right now, but in terms of like who I have written down and who I know I'm gonna bet, I would say my best bet, man, I'm going to go Matthew Neesmith. I feel like the time's coming for Matthew Neesmith, and I have a feeling you're probably going to use him for the one and done. I unfortunately can't because I already burned him. I'm going Neesmith. I feel like the time is now. It's a prime field. Sets up well for what he does. It would be awesome to cash Matthew Neesmith in his first win this week. It would be sick. So I'm going Neesmith. What do you got?
It absolutely will because we are both on him. So if he cashes this week, no doubt about it, it's a celebration as far as golf on tap goes. Man, that's kind of my favorite guy as well for the best bet, but I'm not going to use him. I got to be different, right? You know what? Jeez, let me look at this. Look at the guys I've bet on so far at this point. I'm going to go ahead and go with Tom Hoagie, 28-1. It's not very long odds, just makes too much sense. One of the best iron players right now. So give me Tom Hoagie right there for the best bet. One and done, Jack. You go first. You're leading us in points. I gained some steam, picked up some ground last week, but you still lead our little contest here. So one and done pick. Who you got this week?
That I do. Yeah. Mackenzie Hughes gained you some ground last week with that T16. Of course, I used Taylor Montgomery. The one time he doesn't come in the top 15, he finishes 57th. I actually have a string of over 53 guys in a row here that I'd really like to break. Aaron Rye was bad at Bermuda. Brennan Todd was bad at Mayakoba. I've already used Neesmith. I've already used Todd. This is a tricky little one and done spot for me here. Because I don't think I want to like burn Davis Riley when I believe in his talent, or Sahith. Like, what if they go absolutely crazy early on next season and like I want to use them later? So this is a little bit of a toughie for me here. Wow. You know what? I'm going to go with Joel Damon. I don't know if he's going to win, but I like where his game's at right now. I like the vibes. I like him on coastal courses. Hopefully he doesn't lose that bucket hat of his in the winds or anything. That would be a goddamn national tragedy on our hands. But I'm going to go with Joel Damon. Hopefully he can change the tide for me, and I'm not too worried about burning Joel Damon.
The vibes. I love Joel Damon, man. Like, I just get a kick out of watching him golf. I mean, he got himself into some trouble last week, and it was fun to see him kind of get himself out of trouble. Like, I was just like, I don't know. Yeah. What's that?
He's intriguing.
Yeah, he's very intriguing. I think he's a good golfer. I think, we could see him potentially pick up pick up a win here soon or do pretty damn well as far. Does he have a PGA Tour win?
Yes, he does. He won. I think he won Bermuda. He won a bad field like that. Bermuda or the Barracuda. It might have been the Barracuda.
Okay.
He won something bad, but.
Yeah, but I like that pick though. I think he does have a good floor. You pretty much said my pick. My one and done pick this week. I mentioned it to you off air. Matthew Neesmith. He's also my favorite bet to win the tournament. I gotta be different, so I'm gonna go with Tom Hoagie, but Matthew Neesmith, we're not gonna go over it again. You can go ahead and do your own research. You want to fade everybody? I feel like a lot of people are on him this week, so like that might be, if you're wanting to fade him, that's one reason to fade him, right? You want to be contrarian because Dean Burmeister picked up a lot of steam, like we said last week, and then he kind of shit the bed. So It happens. But this dude's golfing so well, man. He's ready for an outright. He's ready for an hour. He's absolutely ready, I think, in my opinion. Jack, any final thoughts here? Maybe a course, whatever you want to, I don't know, whatever you're thinking about for this upcoming tournament before we go ahead and break this thing down?
One thing I will say, a couple things here, actually. obviously, last event of the calendar year. Would be nice to end it on a high note, get 4th dub in 8 weeks for myself in the fall season. That would be lovely. I do believe last week the TV coverage was better, Joey. We had PGA Tour Live back. You can finally watch golfers you want to golf. I believe that's returning this week in Sea Island for the RSM Classic. Unfortunately, there won't be the trackers there, so we won't get any strokes gained data. But are you a PGA Tour app user?
I am, yeah.
Apparently, big changes are coming, which just that in the first place, the fact that the PGA Tour has finally recognized that their app is complete and utter dog shit and needs to be fixed.
Yeah, it does.
That's massive because no one does their fans a disservice more than the PGA Tour. I really hope they knock it out of the park with this app update because it could definitely change covering and following golf for the better. So hopefully we can maybe see that to kick off the 2023 season, man. But it's been a lot of fun this fall, Joe. Yeah, I really enjoy diving into it every week, going through the nitty gritty, and it's been a success so far. So hopefully we can end it here and end it here with another W and kind of carry over that steam once 2023 starts in Hawaii after New Year's Day, man.
Let's go. No, dude, you've been on fire. You've been on absolute fire. I don't know how many wins I had this fall swing. Was it 1 or 2? I don't know.
I think you had Keegan, right?
Keegan for sure.
I think that was the one you're on. But to be fair,
might be the only one.
You kicked the shit out of me the entire last season, basically.
So what you're saying is once the calendar turns to July or to January, turn over the new year, that's when I start picking up.
Yeah, maybe I had all my fun already, and I'm just blowing my load. I'm good at this stuff.
I don't think so, but no, man, they definitely need to figure this stuff out with the PGA Tour app. I do like to use it, but there are times where I just get too annoyed, and I'm like, I can't put up with this anymore. I thought I saw something about a new marquee pairing for watching on TV or maybe on one of the apps too as well.
That would be awesome.
Marquee grouping. I'm not sure if that's on the PGA Tour app or if that's ESPN Plus. I'm not sure where you're going to get that at, but I thought I saw or read something about that. So definitely something to look into, maybe look forward to. But Jack, almost an hour here. Got this thing down to a science now at this point. An hour show, basically wrap it up. We do it every week. We sit here, we break down the golf tournaments for us, for you, the listener. Hopefully you win some money. That's what it's all about. With that said, Jack, any final thoughts? I pretty much already said any final thoughts, but we are ready to break this thing down and wrap up the show and win some money.
Absolutely, yeah. Cash that tickets. Make sure if you're not, go and check out, Joey hopefully will have a props article coming out. I'll have my full preview article out too. And we're going to be doing this again on a weekly basis when the PGA Tour returns in January 2023, when the real season actually starts, not this kind of little crappy swing season that we've been taking.
The big dogs, when the big dogs come out to play.
So make sure to follow along. Go check out On Tap Sportsnet. They got everything covered for you there. Cubs, Bulls, White Sox, I guess, Bears, Blackhawks, movie reviews, beer reviews, everything great there. Go check it out. Make sure to go and show some love to Golf on Tap. We've been killing it this fall. Hopefully we'll kill it for you this week at the RSM Classic and all of next year as well. Just want everyone to, hop along for this ride. If I'm winning, I want people to win with me. What's the fun sitting here by yourself with all of my riches? I want to go spend it with my friends. I want to go spend it with my friends.
Yeah, it's getting lonely, Jack. It's getting lonely. Why does it feel lonely when, I guess they say more money, more problems, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You got no problems right now because you got no friends.
I'm chilling.
No, I'm just playing. You got me as a friend, my friend. With that said, yeah, follow Jack. He's at Jack Bushman 2 on Twitter. I am at Joey Knows Nothing. Nothing without the G, ends in IN because that stands for win, baby. Let's go. Cash some tickets. Crack them. Lock them. Be safe. And we're out.